What's up, everybody? Sorry for the delay. Is this my belt? Yes, this is my belt. How's it going? Hey, big whoa, what's up? Yeah, our gyms aren't open yet in Mass. Not yet, but soon. I think the 15th is our first day of doors can be open, so I'm finishing up construction here at the gym. We just got off lunch break, and now we're gonna do a little bit of Newaza stuff. We can talk about a little bit of Newaza, a little bit of transition, a little bit of defense, all that kind of fun stuff, right? So, and then hopefully, some of you guys can get some of your questions answered. And we can get a little bit better at the grappling game. Yo, what's up, Sasaki? What's up? Oh, and for some of you guys that aren't aware, right here, judosilencer.com, there's two new designs now, One of you guys said you wanted an American judo themed one. So I went ahead and put together an American judoka shirt featuring the Travis Stevens, what is it, this hand? This hand. Travis Stevens Bulldog, right? So you guys can go there, check those out. They're $25. Turns into Osai call me. Hey man, step number one, pin your guy. Always pin first, choke and armbar second. Pin first, choke and armbar second. That's step number one. Okay? Step number one. But as always, everybody, if you guys have any questions, make sure you throw them in the comments below on whatever side it's on your thing. Might be down there. Just throw something in the comments and don't be afraid to just keep copy and pasting it in there because I may miss it. I can only see 3 or 4 comments at a time. And then before you know it, it's off my radar. And I can't do judo and scroll through the chat at the same time. William, great question. Thank you for the super chat. Let's start there, okay? But what we're going to do, William, is we're going to add to it. We're going to go step 1, high leg over. Step 2, transition to armbar, which is what you're looking for. Okay, so let's go, Ryan. Let's go head straight onto the camera. Back up a little bit, though. There you go. Okay, so my partner's down. When we're learning Newaza, guys, we always want my partner open. So can you shift to the side, actually? There you go. And just kind of, we always want them open, back, flat position. Okay, I'm not going to deal with tighten them up. We're going to be talking about just, hey, how do I feel judo? Okay? How do I feel judo? And this is how we do it. Because when you're training and you're learning, you want it to be as smooth as possible. So as little hiccups as possible. And then you slowly add the resistance from your training partner to 10%, 20%, 50%, 70%, starting in the position, going live. And then you find all those holes and you try to tighten it up as you go. But when we're first learning, always partner open. Okay, straight onto the camera, Ryan. Now look, step 1, high leg over. Super important. Remember, actually, sorry, we got to go back the other way. Can you go ahead the other way, though? There you go. Perfect. Okay. So step 1 to high leg over is approaching from the back always. Okay? 1, 2. Hook goes in. Notice how far back my hips are. Okay? And I put my hook through, and I'm pinching with my legs. And notice I'm catching myself, and I'm pressing my partner forward while I'm pushing my hip back. So I'm pressing him forward while my hips are pulling him back. That way there's a good balance where I'm pushing forward and pulling with my hips back, okay? Let's go ahead and turn to the rear, Ryan. Turn to the rear. Your left leg, this is the leg everybody forgets because everybody thinks, oh, throw the hook in, I'm good to go. But hey, your other leg, super important, okay? Because it keeps balance. When you approach from the rear, right? Here, look it, this leg is active. It's what's holding me here. It's what's keeping him down. Okay? Let's go back the other way around. There you go. Perfect. High leg over now. High leg over. You got to kick this leg through. 1, 2. Boom. Post. Okay? Look at my leg. I lace it. That way I can get a good push. Now, the lace is not important. Okay? It's really going to depend on what type of Newaza you want to do. Okay? I lace because remember my philosophy is pin first, armbar choke second. Okay, when you lace, you're setting up the pin. When you unlace, okay, and you just put your foot through here in the center, right, and you just it's kind of laying out here in the middle between his legs, right, you can see my heel right here just kind of moving around where it's in the center. That means I'm setting up the arm bar and the choke, okay? So right there, you have to trigger yourself as the guy on bottom and the guy on top. Which one is this guy doing? So we're gonna do arm bar and choke, so I'm not gonna hook, but that would be the difference. Let's go ahead forward. Perfect, high leg over now. Now look, setting yourself up on this line, Ryan. There, he's centered on this line. When you high leg over, you have to move your partner from one place to another, okay? The biggest mistake people make in Newaza is they try to do everything stagnant. You want to move around the mat as you're doing Newaza. Okay, so when I throw this hand in here, I'm gonna get Ryan to tuck by taking my left hand and acting like I'm coming through. That way he tucks his arm and he buries it. There, he protects it. And it dips that shoulder for me. That way I can post my hand, center over the head. I kick my leg through and I'm gonna use my hips to post my forehead right here. Pull with that hamstring, bring him over, okay? Let's change direction. Super, super important, okay? Look at the distance traveled. Distance traveled. Here. Okay, now look. My right hand is gonna shoot underneath. My foot's gonna go across his body. Okay, if he latches onto my ankle, which most judo guys will do, you wanna make sure you pull so that he's not, go ahead and clamp hard. Yeah, you don't want him attached to your whole leg. You want him attached to that ankle. Okay, now clamp. There, because that's what's going to give you the play with your hips so that you can move around. Okay? Remember, hand goes underneath and he's going to be locked in. You're going to be digging for this choke. Post my foot. Lean this way. Knee turns in. Okay? The biggest thing a lot of people struggle with when they talk about transitioning to the arm bar from here is they forget to support their partner's back. Okay? If I'm just here and I fall and I try to throw my leg over, Ryan can go down. Yeah, he can face me. He's getting a little too offensive. Most people just run, but that's not the point. But look, what you want to do is you want to take this back leg and put it in his back. So when I'm digging for this choke and I'm down here, my knee is pinching back here. It's pinching nice and tight. That way I can come over. Now I can lock it up. I can push the head away. I can draw the bow to push the head away. Boom. Now I have it. Now I'm clamping. I lock it up, bring it down, throw that hand through, and then we finish that arm bar. Nice and easy. Okay? Let's go head back this way. I like that angle. Right? So when you approach, boom, you knock the guy down. He falls flat on his face. Did a bad drop sayo, bad high, whatever it was. We throw that hook in, post, bring him over, try to throw that foot across. If he catches it, tuck it. Hand goes underneath, start digging. Right? Just take this hand, punch him, bang. He'll protect himself. Prop him up. Push that head away. Look, draw the bow. My hand's nowhere near his face, so we're perfectly legal. Okay, draw the bow. Leg comes over, lock it up. Hand goes through as I transition to that other side. We break the grip, we break the arm. Okay? Super, super simple. Super simple. William, I hope that answers your question. Starting to cross-train BJJ. Hey, brother, there's a general concept to applying pressure in osaikomi. Yeah, there is. Can you go head that way to the clock, feet that way on your back? Yeah, beautiful. Okay. Okay, yeah. Just go ahead and just kind of like you're in a coffin. Perfect. Okay. So we're talking about creating pressure on the ground. You got to remember that the number one thing you want to do is you want to put pressure through your partner, not pull your partner up. You always, under any circumstance, you have more power pushing than you do pulling. Okay? So you want to press into him. Okay? go down into the floor. And what a lot of people try to do is they try to pull their partner tight to them instead of pushing them with their body, okay? So one of the just core like fundamental concepts that you can focus on to make pinning just, you know, super, super easy, right? Just super easy, where it's like, I'm going to be done thinking about, you know, traditional Kesa-gatame, traditional Yoko-shio-gatame, and I'm going to broaden my horizons. I'm going to dumb it down a little bit. Remember, make this super easy. James, thank you for the super chat. Is that the armbar move on your Judo Fanatics Newaza? Yes, that is one I did. It's part of the wrist lock series I did it in, and there's also an entire series off that high leg where we go bow and arrow choke. We teach how to stuff the shoulder, go into the pin, knee cut across. We go over all that in the Newaza Mastery course. So thank you for paying attention. Thank you for checking out the DVD. And if you haven't, make sure you guys go check it out. Boom. I'm giving 25% off to all instructionals. JudoSilencer.com. I should just put it over there because it's natural. That is natural. Yeah, it's over there. It's opposite of what I'm looking at. But yeah, so let's go back to this pinning concept, right? Again, you guys got to think about like, how does Ryan get out of pins to apply pressure? Because pinning people is super simple in judo. It's not like wrestling where like you got to get the back perfectly flat. It's like you basically just got to keep him there, right? So when you're in this position, right, a lot of people, they drive their forehead down and then they lift their butt up, okay? But when we're telling you to drive your forehead down, we mean just that. Just drive your forehead down. That doesn't mean mentally in your own head, right? Like, oh, I have to put my forehead on the floor under any circumstances. And then what happens is there's a disconnect between the people teaching and the people learning, where we said, hey, drive your head down to the floor, to you going, I'm going to put my head on the floor. And they're two different statements. Because when you just put your head on the floor, go ahead and push up on my hip here. Nope. Let me have your hand. There you go, this hip. Go ahead and push up. There. And he just pushes me over. It takes like no effort because I'm just focused on pushing my hip to the floor. But what you want to think about when you're trying to pin somebody is if your chest is parallel to the floor, it is impossible to get turned because your chest is always parallel. So as long as you can stay parallel, I'm going to drive my head down, but I'm also going to bring my hips down. I'm going to bring my hips down, bring my head down, and make sure that I'm going to do the best of my ability to keep my chest all the time parallel. So I make sure my force is going down evenly rather than rocking over the top one way or the other. Because if I tell you to put your belt on the floor and you go like this and he pushes up on your face and he shrimps out, well, now what? I did what you asked. I put my belt on the floor. But you also didn't put your head on the floor to make sure you can secure your partner down to the ground. When there's like a weird middle ground here where if I have this arm trapped, right, Ryan keeps it up and it's trapped behind me. And I keep my hand here in his belly and I keep my hand here under his head and I trap this one arm, okay? I keep my chest up. Ryan, just kind of roll to your left. Yep, just kind of roll. There, you see how his arm is strapped? He can't escape it. But now, if Ryan rolls towards me, there, keep rolling, keep rolling. There, see, he can take it out that back door. So what you need to think about is I'm on top of Ryan, right? I'm on top of Ryan. If Ryan rolls away from me, go ahead, roll away. He can't get out because I have this, okay? Now, if he rolls the other way, go ahead, roll the other way. There, don't push me, just roll. Go ahead, just roll. He still can't get out because I have the other arm. That's pinning 101 right there. Like super simple. We dumbed it down as far as we possibly can. If I sit on Ryan's arm here and tell Ryan to roll away, he can't get out, okay? His only way out is to actually roll over his shoulder, backward somersault, there, and now he can get out, right? So go back forward. So now that I know Ryan can't roll away and his only escape is there, if I put my head here and then go ahead and backward somersault, boom, go ahead, come on. He can't, I can do almost nothing and he can't get out. That's why pinning is so easy in judo, right? If I'm holding somebody here and this arm is up and he tries to roll away, I just stay here. If he rolls towards me, I just stay here. He still can't get out, right? You don't have to overly do anything. The problem a lot of people have is they get nervous because they're not sure what's going on and they clamp, right? In Newaza, the idea is to keep his back facing the floor, not to attach your chest to his. If I attach him to me here, and then I squeeze and Ryan rolls left and right, he can, look at all this motion that he gets where he can just throw me over, right? That's where you run into problems. But if I just kind of hang out here and then say, Ryan, go ahead and go. Go ahead. There, see how my hands are playing deep? I'm not even holding him here. Ryan actually made mistake number one for everybody on the ground. You reached over the back and you grabbed. How is Ryan supposed to get out? Grab my back. If he grabs my back, now get out. Go ahead, just hold on to my back and get out. He can't, because he's attached his chest to my chest, which means he kept his back to the floor, right? Like when you're trying to get out, you've got to think about like, how do I get out? If I'm trapping Ryan's arm here and he needs to get out, go ahead and roll away. He can't do it. So what does he need to do? He needs to bump me in the chest, boom, create a little bit of space. No. Punch me in the chest, create a little bit of space, tuck this hand out, and now roll away. And now he's out. It's that simple. But everybody tries to think traditionally. Go ahead and scoot this way so we're more into the center. Everybody tries to think super traditionally on like, what did I learn as a white belt? And they do work, but as the person you're going up against knows more and more about Newaza, or the more jiu-jitsu that gets pulled into judo style Newaza, the more you've got to just use common sense, right? In order to get out, right? Like the number one thing that pisses me off the most, right? I get so angry when jiu-jitsu guys or judo guys think that a basic guard retention, elbow escape, oh, Tim, I'm going right here. You just set me off. Elbow escape. Dumbest recovery from being pinned for the sport of judo. Dumbest. Super dumb. Unless you have a high level of jiu-jitsu, like I could probably elbow escape and get it to work. But if you don't, if you're a blue belt, if you're a purple belt, if you're a brown belt, even most black belts, like garbage. Complete and utter garbage, right? Look it. If I'm pinning Ryan, do you know what the knee elbow escape is? No. Right? So, okay, you're going to shrimp your hips out, and then bring this knee inside, and then push me away, and then pull guard. There we go. But put this knee in this time. Okay, so we're going to teach him right here, right? He shrimps his hips out. Put that knee inside there. That's basically a knee elbow escape. Now look, guys. Scoot this way so we're more into this frame, and scoot down. There you go. Guys, this drives me nuts. Jason, yes, bridging escapes are more valuable. And you know what? In all honesty, I'll be 100% up front. Bridging escapes are more valuable for escaping side control in both BJJ and judo, and I will fight anybody tooth and nail, and we can have that debate and that argument. Because my argument is my job is to get out of side control. The problem lies in people's thoughts is, well, I want to get out of side control and also be in an offensive position, right? I'm telling you that a bridge escape is better than a knee in shrimping escape because I'm not worried about getting into an offensive position. I'm worried about not getting pinned, right? There we go, Christian. I'm glad you said it. What about half guard? What about just getting the hell out, right? Why are you going to get scored on because you want to get into an offensive position, right? Your job on bottom is to get out, Not to get offensive, right? And like, hey, you lost this exchange in judo. We're gonna be down here for 10 or 15 seconds. Look at this. Look it. Watch this. Watch. You guys. Hopefully this blows your mind, because the level of stupidity about a shrimping escape in the sport of judo is mind blowing. The level of stupidity in a shrimping escape for judo is mind blowing. Now look. I'm going with Ryan. No, let's go good. Ryan does no jiu-jitsu, by the way. That's why I use him for judo and I use Frosty for jiu-jitsu. But look, good frame right here on the chest. Yep. Go ahead and shrimp your hips out, and now bring that knee inside. Boom. Knee elbow escape, right? Now look. Okay, go back. Look. Keep your knees up. He shrimps. I go 1, and now put that knee inside. Can't do it. Look at that. This just got you pinned for Wazari. Right there. 1 move got you pinned for Wazari. The second move just got you pinned for Ippon. Think about that. Because you decided to intermix BJJ white belt escapes in judo. You just got pinned for Ippon. Now, I'm not saying that you're not going to eventually get out, but at the same time, like, what do I care that you eventually get out? Right? The difference between BJJ and judo is in judo, the match is over. Right? Think about it like this, guys. You get your guard passed, you get pinned, and the guy is squeezing you with everything he's got. How often does a shrimp escape where you bring that knee inside work in less than 10 seconds? Where you guys are the same strength, same skill level? Almost never. The shrimp escape works great when I on top open up my side control to do something offensive, like a step over arm bar, like a paper cutter, like a baseball bat choke, like a knee on belly. Then yeah, pop your hips off and get out. But when my sole purpose is to keep him in this position, that shrimping escape doesn't work. Not in the time allotted for the sport of judo. I can't tell you how many BJJ guys I've pinned like this. Go ahead and keep your knees up. Right? Good frame. Like this. Look. Grip. Put your arm straight. Grip. Back of the tricep. Look at this. Watch this. Okay. Go ahead and put your elbow down. I got one grip. I got grip number 2. Now, Ryan, shrimp and bring your knee in. Go ahead. I just pinned Ryan for Wazari. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, that's why when I watch BJJ guys, and that's why, time out. We're gonna rant about this for a second before I even get into teaching about this. The reason why I got so good at jiu-jitsu so fast was because I actually do jiu-jitsu. The reason why I got good at judo was because I actually did judo. The reason why most of you guys suck is because you learn a little bit of BJJ and then you go somewhere where they don't do BJJ and then you apply it. Right? It's like, hey, I'm going to do a little bit of takedown stuff and then I'm going to go wrestle my neighbor and tell him how great I am. Why don't you go wrestle an All-American, a D1 wrestler? Why don't you go put a judo gi on and go wrestle a national champion or a judo champion or whatever it is? You know why you don't? Because you know you're going to get your butt kicked. Right? Same thing here on the ground. You're trying to take a little bit of one sport and say it's going to work because he doesn't know what he's doing. But at the same time, you would get, if you were in BJJ, instead of doing a shrimping escape, if you just rolled over, you'd be out of side control. Right? Is that your goal, is to get out of side control, right? Why do you have to put this like pre-natured, like I got to get out of side control but be in a positive position in order that I can win? But if you were intelligent and you knew rolling away meant, as a BJJ guy, I'm going to go for the back, and you countered the back, you'd recover more from side control into an offensive position than you ever would trying to knee elbow escape. Right? Because the only way the knee elbow escape actually works is if I'm actually trying to beat you from side control, right? We could go, what's the Lloyd Irvin guy's name? The short guy with the frohawk that wrestles. DJ Jackson, right? He pins everybody, and then he kind of works back, you knee elbow escape. Go ahead. And then recover guard. Nope, other way. There you go. And he, nope, trap my leg. Oh, you got the half guard. You know what DJ does? He knee cuts, he keeps your chest flat, and he gets more points. Thank you, Jason. DJ, yeah. That's like 80% of his jiu-jitsu. And you know what people keep doing? They keep knee elbow escaping and keep going back to half guard. It's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Right? Like, at the end of the day, scoot this way. I tell people all the time, I can pin 80% of people in the grappling world by doing this. Sprawling my hips out. I could pin 80% of people, right? Go ahead, Ryan, get out. Go ahead. Go ahead. Come on. Give it a little bit of effort. That's not even me trying to keep them down, guys. That's literally just keeping my hands where they're supposed to be, right? Where your BJJ coach, where your judo coach taught you to be day one of class, right? And then all of a sudden you learned a fancy little trick, and then boom, you forget all the basics, right? Like, Jesus. Tim, if you're trying to do a little bit of BJJ to work on your judo, right? Just forget that one is going to help the other. Just do the other. When you get good enough at the other, you'll be able to bridge the two together once you're good enough at both. When you bring over the knowledge too soon, right? When you bring it over early and you get those quick dopamine rushes of success, your ceiling of how good you can get is going to be super limited. It's going to be crazy limited. It's kind of like when the BJJ guy goes, "Hey guys, I'm really good at takedowns," but they have no experience in freestyle or Greco-Roman wrestling on a world stage or judo on a world stage. But don't worry, guys, they're really good. Right? Because they're only good when they compete against people who aren't good. Right? You want to train so that you can beat the best people in the world regardless of the rule set, regardless of the mat that you're on, regardless of the situation. You want to be able to handle yourself. Rory, don't think about it so much as like an actual rank. Think about like, oh, I'm doing judo, and then all of a sudden I do this one little thing that I got from BJJ, and then I go back to doing judo, right? You can sprinkle in these little like tidbits of nuances that'll help you get better. Stefano, I'm the same way. I prefer the aggressive approach to judo, both standing and on the ground. BJJ is fun because you get to explore it and you get to do all these different things that you don't get to do in judo because of the timing. But if BJJ could come a little closer to the aggressiveness of judo, I would like it a lot more. So it's more about just an understanding of like when like 10% of jiu-jitsu should come over to judo instead of all of jiu-jitsu. Like if you find yourself in judo playing guard in class, you should just look in the mirror and slap yourself in the face because it's completely useless. Right? Not that people don't win in the guard, but they win because of some fluke instance, not because of something that was dedicated and really practiced. Yes, Jason, because then Because then you would actually get the person on bottom to do something more than just lay there for 3.5 minutes, shrimping and knee elbow escaping until eventually it works because the guy on top tries to do something he shouldn't because he wants to do something offensive because he's told he has to. But let's do this. One of the things I wanted to talk about was, because I know it came up in a lot of the Mastering Seoinage live things we did. Let's talk about how I liked, oh, my knees from sitting down. Oh, I'm getting old. Oh, wait, I got to stretch out. I got to stretch out a little bit. I got to get a little stretch. I sat down too long. My body doesn't work the way it used to. What do you think about bumping opponent and turning towards him, belly down with both hands? I love it. For the sport of judo, I love it. It got you out of the pin. Live to fight another day. Why would you ever be knee on belly in judo? Why? It's not that you can't. It's my question is why? Right? So, can you go down, Ryan? Let's go head to the camera. Yeah, head to the camera. There you go. Knee on belly. Knee on belly. Boom. I'm not even going to put my knee on. Knee on belly. Why would you ever be here? What would be the purpose of this? Right? I'm confused because I'm not pinning him. Right? I'm pretty sure a ref, if they saw this in competition, they wouldn't call osaikomi. You would actually have to face them and come down and then actually pin them to get the call. I will say sometimes, Ryan, let's turn sideways. Sometimes I personally, because I'm a mean SOB most of the time, right? If you grapple with me, especially in the sport of judo, I'm kind of mean about it. I do a lot of dirty little tricks, a lot of little dirty things to make you squirm or make you react so that I can ensure that I'm gonna win, right? So, for example, if I'm pinning Ryan, right? Go ahead and keep that elbow in. There you go. If I'm pinning Ryan and I'm like this and I'm in here nice and tight, one of the things that I'll do is I'll put my knee right here on his hip. So bring your bridge up there, so that when he's bridging, I can drive his head down or his hips down. And what I do is I get my knee put into his hip bone right here, into his hip flexor, so I can push it away while I pull his upper half. So when I'm in this position, I can pull and I can press. And all I'm doing is creating a line of tension from his hip to his opposite shoulder and stretching him so that his movement is a lot less. Again, he's gonna be able to take it off, right? He'll just push my knee down and then I'll put it back up. But what I'm doing is I'm conditioning Ryan to release the pressure by pushing my knee down. Then when he goes back to escaping, I put my knee back, he pushes my leg off. Meanwhile, the clock in judo is just going, right? Every time he pushes my knee down, right? Clock is winding down. I'm getting closer and closer to winning. So he's trying to keep my knee off his hip. He's not trying to actually get out, right? So that might be an area where I'm technically knee on belly because my knee is on his stomach, but I'm not in the position in a traditional sense. William, thank you for the super chat. I love it. Correct, cannot start a pin with it, but can use it for sure. But why would you ever transfer? Guys, you're already winning. I don't understand why you would ever want to leave. I think the biggest misconception that a lot of people have on the ground, right, is the idea of what is a pin or when are you winning, right? And I see a lot of kids, especially the cadets and the juniors, even into the seniors, but normally when you're pinning in seniors, you don't see it too much, but I do see it even on the IJF circuit from international players, Americans, Canadians, everybody, I kind of see it, where I refer to it as over-pinning, okay? When you're pinning somebody, the idea is to get somewhere where the ref calls osaikomi. Once the ref calls osaikomi, you're done. Done. Dunskies. Game over. Okay, if anybody watched my second round match against Uzbekistan, I think it was, where I pinned him, that never should have worked. I'm telling you right now, I made it up. Totally made it up at the Olympic Games. I made it up. Had no idea. I went to do a move, and then I stumbled on it. He kind of like changed the angle on me as I went to do it, and I stumbled and I fell, but I had my grips, and then I totally just made it up. Not even gonna lie about it, made it up. But I used some core concepts, right? And used his lack of knowledge on the ground. I better stand. His lack of knowledge on the ground in order to secure the pin. So once you have the Osai-komi called, or you feel like the Osai-komi is gonna be called, you are done. So Ryan, can we go ahead to the camera? Yep. And go ahead and lay up on your side towards me. There you go. Right? If I got a guy and I'm like this is it. I'm done. Game over. Ref's going to call Osai-komi. The problem a lot of people have, and where I refer to it as over-pinning, right, is when they push because they think the partner's back has to get to the floor. That's not the case. This is Osai-komi. Game over. Right? Ryan is done. There is no coming back from this pin right here, where I'm at. Zero. I have control of Ryan's head. I have control of his arm. So if Ryan tries to go belly down, he can't because I have his arm, right? I keep my chest in front of his shoulder so that he can't do it. And then when Ryan tries to roll the other way and put his back on the floor, I don't let him. I'm keeping my elbow tight to his back. That's why my hand's not grabbing, right? Go ahead and put your back on the floor. Go ahead, Ryan. There. See how much he's got to work? And that's not even my hands being used. Come back. So when you're in this position and you can keep him here on his side, he actually cannot escape. The problem most of you guys have is you feel like you've got to put his back flat on the floor. And I don't know where it was taught. I don't know why this is like accepted practice in the sport of judo where like I don't think anybody ever said it. I just think people started assuming it and enough people assumed it where it just became in the air and in the atmosphere of like any judo dojo worldwide, where like you feel like you have to push and get their back flat to the floor to like really establish dominance, right? And what happens is you start pushing and then they bridge the other way and then that happens. And then before you know it, you see people losing pins left and right. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people? You had them dead to rights. It was over. Why did you feel this need to go do extra? Oh, it drives me nuts. Yes, William. It would be Tokeda. You can't pin somebody. You can't pin somebody knee on belly like this and have your chest up here. Your chest and their chest have to be facing the same plane. Right now, my chest is up here. I need to be facing down. Right? So if you actually stood up where you're on your feet, and you're here and your knees aren't even on the flat or on the floor, I don't think a ref would go for that. Yeah, T. Daniel, maybe it is. It might be a wrestling thing, right? It may be. But I don't know why it spilled over into our sport. Massimo, thank you for the super chat. Welcome back to the live stream. Massimo, that's a good question on the choking. Most of the time, go ahead and stand up, Ryan. I would say most of the time when we're talking about being able to choke in the sport of judo, from a referee standpoint, it is very difficult to see progression. Okay? When you're doing Newaza, you have to show the ability to progress in order to keep the time running. If the ref feels like there's no progression, they're not going to let it go. And so when you're talking about trying to effectively choke somebody, right? So go ahead and face the camera, Ryan. Let's say I'm off to the side and Ryan's belly down. Go ahead and defend your neck like I'm, no, stay up, but just like defend your neck like I'm choking, right? Loosen up a little bit so they can see. Let's say my hand is in here and I'm digging and like things are going on, right? And I'm like, I can't get it. Like every time my hand scooches in just a little bit further, it's like, that's big ground when you're talking about choking. Being able to take, wait, hold on. Being able to take your hand from here and then get it to here and then get it all the way up. Those are huge monumental steps when we're talking about choking. But from the referee standpoint, he's looking at it, right, from the down position. Go ahead and go down. No, sit up on all fours. All fours, yeah, just down. When you're in this position, you're hanging out and you're like, and he's in here fighting. Like he can't actually visibly see anything that's going on, right? So when you're talking about choking and being able to show progression, it's super limited, which is why I think a lot of judokas like myself, we never did it because there wasn't a lot we could do from it. But with that being said, I do use the threat of chokes to get my partner to open up in order to set up other things, right? So one of the things we go over in the Newaza Mastery is blending your Newaza together, making sure that set move A and set move B, at the end of A, it transitions to B so that you can always have something to build off of. And one of the things we do is we do like a British strangle, and then let's tuck your chin, Ryan, right? So when I do my British strangle here and I pull up, you can see it on his face, right? But then I have the arm. So when I let go, I've gotten him open so that my foot's all the way across so I can make that transition onto his arm. Right? So we could use the choke to show progression in order to let it go, in order to move on to like steps 1, 2, and 3. Right? No, that was good. That we just needed to show it the one time. And that's why I don't think the shimiwazas and the chokes really play that much of an effect, because once your hands get grabbed, it's almost impossible to get them out, and then the newaza gets hit and it's game over, right? If Ryan's sitting here and he feels me throw my hand through, right? Nope, other one, just grab it. And he grabs it, nope, the whole hand, yeah, there you go. Like, and he squeezes. You see this all the time internationally, and guys are like, I can't get it out, right? So it's kind of, and yeah, Dinos, Yamashita did a great job with it, because what he used to do was he used to blend it together. Go ahead and lay down your belly, right? Another, can we go at like actually head to the wall pads? There you go, good. What he used to do, right, was he used to just throw his hand through here, and then when he had that choke, he used to run it, and then guys would roll up on their side, and he used to hook this arm, right? And then he used to be able to pin people. You know what I mean? Like, because again, and it didn't matter whether he was underneath or on the face, because their face is down and the ref couldn't see it. So you could effectively like hit those chokes, punch it in there, crank it. But what happens is, when you think about like how competitive that is, right? Do I really want to just punch Ryan in the face, rip it across his face, and finish? In judo, we're not taught that. That's like high level competitive stuff. Yasmin, I wouldn't differentiate the two. Just do sankaku and let bygones be bygones. Okay, let's do Kesa-gatame. Let's do Kesa-gatame. Let's go ahead to the camera, Ryan, on your back. And then I'm going to change sides so that we don't hit the mic. Kesa-gatame, because this gets asked a lot. Can we back up, Ryan? And let's go actually change a little bit of an angle. Yeah, there you go. A little too much. I'm a perfectionist, a little too much. Okay. Kesa-gatame. Kesa-gatame. Look. I hate belly down. I'll punch you for that chicken poop move. Okay, guys, so Kesa-gatame. Creating pressure. Okay. There's a spot on the body, and I did a whole video on this, so if I don't get to your question while I explain this, make sure, no worries, Sasaki, thanks for stopping by. Make sure you guys go check out that video. I can't even for the life of me remember what I titled the thing, But there's some, in my feed somewhere in the last month, there was a Kesa-gatame video where I went over this in depth. But essentially, there's a midpoint here on the body, okay? Where if I take my right hand, okay, and you guys can kind of see that American flag. So if I go up above Ryan's nipples here and I put my hand on his chest, right, and I really lean on it. Go ahead and do a backward somersault, Ryan. There, see, he can backward somersault, okay? If I put my hand by his belt and his belly, and I say, Ryan, do a sit-up. Yep, Rock can sit up. There, he can sit up. There's a midpoint here where you're not on the soft part of the belly, but you're on the rib. So when I lean here and I say, go ahead, Ryan, do a somersault. There, you can pressure that and you can kind of get him to rock back. That point, and it's different on everybody. That's the kicker between judo and jiu-jitsu is you've actually got to understand the concepts of the moves and be able to make micro adjustments to your opponents based on their size and athletic ability for judo. For BJJ, the techniques work just regardless of the person's size. So when you're in this position and you're here, you'll just figure out where that is and you can use your rib cage and then you can squeeze the air out of them while you're sitting in it. And then you want to sit in your good 90-90 where your pinky toe is driving that knee into his shoulder. Your toe is live on the back. Your head is down, but you're pressing, right? I'm not putting my head down to lift my hips up. I'm keeping my hips down. I'm curling with my back, and I'm using my head to stay low, okay? And then from here, we're pulling onto the hand. But the hands are kind of irrelevant, right? Here, here, here. Like it's more midsections and base that's going to keep your pin more so than like how you actually like to hold the head position, right? It all matters. Like this is one that I like a lot because it keeps the elbow here. So when Ryan tries to bridge into me, he can't do it, and I can keep his head up off the floor, and he can't get this arm back, right? So I pretty much have all three areas kind of stuck while keeping the pressure down. So that's kind of like essentially like the basics of holding that pin. It's mid-chest down. Into his shoulder or under it. What do you mean, William? How to escape Kesa-gatame, Travis Stevens. That's the escape, Richard. The lead knee. Under it. Under it. So guys, essentially, can you go back flat again? Essentially, right, as crazy as this sounds, do a shoulder bridge over the shoulder. There, he bridges over that shoulder. Okay, now, let me have this. Now do a shoulder bridge over that shoulder. Super difficult. So what you want to do is you want to actually pick his head up a little bit, right? So when he tries to shoulder bridge over that shoulder, he actually can't. So you don't want his shoulder and arm to be down. Tuck your shoulder, like pull your shoulder back. No, not your elbow, your shoulder. There you go. Yeah, you don't want that to be down because when he can put that on the floor and now he can bridge off that point, he can bump you. But if I can pull this up and keep my knee underneath it, he's not going to be able to get it into the floor. Okay, which changes his point of rotation to kind of his pec because that's the next thing that's on the mat. So that's going to be what he's going to try to bridge up and over. So if you can keep his head off the floor when he goes to bridge and you can use this foot to drive, right, because I'm pushing him back, right, it gives you a good little base here to kind of hold somebody. And then, you can always make your transitions back to the other side to switch and kind of flow around your partner, depending on how crazy you want to get with the groundwork style stuff. Yeah, Lewis, that's what I was going to get into before we went into the Kesa-gatame thing was transitions from the ground. One of the things I wanted to go over was actually defending drop sail. Ryan's a righty, so we're gonna do this to the best of our ability, and it's probably best to show this way. So I think Dan Gable said it, I think. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. Maybe somebody knows, but it was a famous wrestler who was like, well, because he got asked by like a kid at one of his camps, and he said, the kid was like, well, what do you do when your partner changes levels and shoot? Like, what's your reaction? Do you sprawl? Do you do this? James, it doesn't matter. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, but it doesn't matter, remember, because, guys, the fulcrum matters. Go down. We're going to address this really quick. Look, it doesn't matter because when he puts his hands together around your body, right, he's made a commitment to this position. When he does that, just shrimp your hips down so that when he bridges and rolls, you're not on him, right? Let go. See, I'm sitting next to him now. If I get my hips on top of him and now he locks onto my body and he goes like, he'll actually get this roll. Let's go back. So when you feel them go body lock, he goes body lock, just shrimp out your hips a little bit. And then when he bridges, he can't go. And then when he bridges back the other way, there, push back into him and then drive this up so that he can't go anywhere. And sit next to him so your butt is on the floor, not on top of him. Okay? But anyways, back to this wrestling guy. The kid was like, what happens when that guy lowers his level and takes a shot? He goes, you know what I do? I lower my level and I shoot. And I went, that's brilliant. Super brilliant. So what I do, when a guy goes drop Seo, I go drop Seo. And I go, you know what? If you're going to do it, I'm going to do it. And what it does is it actually creates a big in turn so that outside breaks. So when he's here, we're going to do this slow. So go through. Go through. There you go. Oh, we got to go the other way because you're going to crush the mic. He's got to go lefty, guys. Sorry. When he goes left, go ahead and go through. I go through. And see, it creates that natural break. Because for him to do a drop Seo, he can't have my sleeve, right? It has to be free. So when he goes, I go, right? It's what I did to Turchishvili in the semifinal. I was holding on top. I was here. He went drop Seo. Boom. And then when we fall down, I'm here and I'm on top of him, right? So that's one of the things that I do. So what I practice is when he drops, boom, I knock him off his base. I punch him right through. When he's here, boom, I hit him. Boom, hit him every time. And then when he goes down, I automatically follow. And I get my good knee pinch. I get good control, okay? So loosely from this side, nice and soft because I don't want to crush the mic. When he's here and I bump him and he lets go and I break that grip, I'm looking this way, but I automatically, boom, I engage right away, right away. He goes through, boom, I engage and I set the position. Whatever it is I'm looking to do, right? That's one transition. Another transition that I like to work on is, what's the best way to do it? It's kind of like, we did this at Tokai a lot when I was there and I really liked it. So I kind of kept going with it. So basically we go opposite sided like Sode grip. And then all we do is step, touch the foot. Step, touch the foot, pass it, and now we transition, right? But notice that I keep going, right? So one of the ones that I used to do when I was there a lot was we used to step, bump, right here when I pull him down, and my hand hits him in the back, and we go down. Right when he touches, I fall in for that wrist. I break him down, and I start wrist control series from there, okay? That was one. Another one that we used to do, Omega Supreme with cheese, thank you for the super chat. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like it. Another one we used to do all the time was just straight up. We used to go like this. We used to move that front leg. We used to move that front leg, snap them down, and then we would be into our sankakus and our front-facing attacks. And I know a lot of the Japanese guys like to do uchimata and things like that. So what they used to do, it's a good way of putting this. So basically just kind of go to your knees off the throw. I'm going to let you do it, though. They used to basically kind of come in and hop, 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 boom, drag that partner in, and then set their grips from there. And they used to practice, like that used to be Tachiwaza Randori time, right? They used to go like this. They used to go, boom, snap, and it was a live go. Once that person touched the floor, it was live Randori. Live Randori. I know another one, go ahead and squat. Like, no, face me. And just squat. I know a lot of the British guys used to do one like this, where the person used to squat back in the day. And what we used to do when we were drilling, I'm going to punch you in your shoulders and then belly out. Boom, he used to just belly out. And now, come here. Let's scoot this way so we stay on camera. What we used to do was, we used to go like this, boom. And then you used to have to follow. And that would be the start of Randori, right? So that you could work with something. We personally don't do that because we don't want to waste our time fighting for the first grip, because that's the hardest one to get. What you want to practice is actually getting it. So the only way to get really good at transitions is to actually do Tachiwaza Randori with transitions. That way you can actively punish people for their bad attacks. You can work on how I'm going to throw somebody into my transition, right? One of the ones that I always preach to people is here, where you go cross grip and you go drop Seo, boom, and you snap him off the other side and you start opening him up so that you can feed that choke through, and you can just work on actually developing that technique, right? Colin, it's illegal to put the hand in the face, so don't worry about it. Also, come here, Ryan, you're flexible. Back to this Kesa-gatame thing. What you're saying, Colin, yeah, go ahead and push me and then throw that leg over. Just grab his foot and hold it. Just hold it. I pin people like this all the time in judo. He puts it in my face, I hook it and I hold it and I lean on it. Where's he gonna go? I got his arm. Watch out for the mic. I got his arm, right? He's stuck, he's pushing on my face. He throws that foot over. Just grab it, just push it. Where's he gonna go? Remember, guys, it's only 20 seconds. You don't have to hold him there indefinitely for the rest of his life. You can't do these like weird escapes that don't technically make sense, right? Omega Supreme Cheese, thanks for stopping by. Yasmin, you don't want to hunt for one position. You want to figure out where you consistently land so that you have, like, you know what grips you're left with, right? So like when I defend that drop Seo, I knew I'd have that choking hand. It's why I play from the top. If I'm going with Ryan and he's a lefty, I kill his front sleeve, he posts, and I post, and he does drop Seo. Boom. Go ahead and let go. My hand is on top. I can choke him now, right? See how my arm's above his shoulders? But if we change it up now, and now I do more traditional, right? Because without the thought of transition, where everybody teaches you, when you do Seiyonagi, stand square, you want to be underneath, right? Because that's how they always teach you. But in modern day age, where we actually think about the transition and how it applies, I don't want, if I miss my drop Seo, I don't want him to have the ability to choke me. Now look, if I'm here and I'm underneath, and now he does his drop Seo, boom, and he lets go, his hand is naturally in a position where, go ahead and hold your hand there. I can't finish that choke, right? Because it's on top of my hand. He would have to actually let go completely to let me freely choke him. Had I been underneath with Turchishvili, I wouldn't have choked him. I had to be on top. Dinos, thank you for the super chat. I'm glad you think the way I do it is unique. I'm glad you think we're pushing the growth of community here. And yeah, that's why we started Judo Fanatics, right? Because I personally remember when I was a kid, right? I used to show up at all the local tournaments, and there'd be a guy there with a booth selling some stuff I couldn't afford because I was a broke kid. But he used to have a little TV there, and he used to throw Koga, the new wind, in there, and I used to be there, and I used to just sit and watch. I used to touch all the merchandise. But I used to watch that DVD, and I learned a lot from it. It's actually what I based my standing Seiyo on, was watching his DVD growing up. And then when I got older, I learned a lot just by going to France and going to the INSEP and watching their coaches, watching other athletes, seeing how people do things, going to Japan, going to the Saturday Tokai classes where all the instructors are teaching. I couldn't understand a word they were saying, but I understand the judo, right? And I could actually figure it out. And so we started Judo Fanatics because I felt like there's this wealth of knowledge out there that gets lost, right? Because guys don't do what I'm doing right now, and we're just making videos trying to educate with the knowledge that we have for anybody that wants to listen. So hopefully we can build out this website and all this knowledge and all these instructionals from all these great athletes so that people who want to learn have the ability to learn, right? Any dirty chokes or joint locks that you can show us? Oh, I got tons. I got tons. I got tons. Here's a good one. Here's a good one. Let's scoot forward. Let's go high kneeling. Like sit up nice and tall. And let's scoot up. Nice and close to the camera. Nice and close, nice and close, nice and close. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, so he's in here. He's super close now for you guys. Dirty choke. Dirty choke. I love it. Okay, here we go. Ryan, tuck your chin. Nope, just tuck your chin. Just tuck your chin. Look, his chin is tucked. You can't get your hand underneath, right? No worries. No worries. What we're going to do is we're going to go far side collar and we're going to rung it up. Okay, so that I can take the pit of my elbow right into the bridge of his nose. This is nasty, guys. This is nasty. You're gonna piss off your training partners. I'm telling you right now. And you can tell them I told you to do it, because they can come to my gym and take it up with me. I would love it. But look, here we are. I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna squeeze. Go ahead and keep your chin down. Keep your chin. Fight it. Don't lift it up. Don't lift it. Yeah. Fight it. Yeah, squeeze. Okay, look. Now that you're here, look. We're gonna go underneath, and you're gonna grab anything you can to keep his head down. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw the bow. We're gonna draw the bow. Look, he's here. Draw the bow. Boom. Got it. Every time. Like clockwork, right? When he's down, go ahead, nope, come back. When he's down, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pin this back hip here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna throw it through and I'm gonna get to here. He's gonna tuck that chin, he's gonna grab my hand, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna draw that bow, snap, and now I'm gonna run him. And I'm gonna finish it. Every time. Every time. I love it. It really depends on how much Newaza you actually do. You know, when we're talking about should you show something, should you not show something, like how well do your students know move A and move B, and do they have the ability to blend it together? Yeah, it's a super slick choke. It's a super slick choke. Here's another one. Check this out, guys. Let's go back to that same position. Yeah, same position right in front. Here's another super slick choke, okay? Look, I go over this in my chokes DVD for you guys, but look, go ahead and just kind of keep that arm up there. Put your chin down. It is super difficult to get this underneath his chin, right? We all know, like, just dig it in there, just punch it, do whatever you got to do, right? But now pick your head up. What I do when I try to choke somebody from here, specifically in the dojos, because in competitions, I remember I pin first, I choke an armbar second. But what you can do is you can go a little bit lower and then snap this so that the center part of the lapel looks straight forward. Whole body, everything straight on. The center part of this collar crosses Ryan's center line, okay? It crosses his center line. That way, once you've punched it across, when he puts his chin down, look, it's already on the other side. Now I can grab it without ever going underneath his chin, and now I can finish the choke. Right? So before he plays any defense, snap it all the way across. When you go to do this choke and he puts his chin down, he'll put it right on top of the collar. You just need to grab it. And so one of the ways I set this up, let's back it up. One of the ways I set this up all the time, head the other way. Yeah, there you go. One of the ways I set, scoot forward. Forward. We're gonna change the angle. Is when we're here, I grab that near side collar, right? I post, I block his back leg post, and I break him off balance. And right here, boom, see how he puts that elbow down? We lift, we punch it across. I have it. He tucks that chin to play defense. It's already across. I got him, dead to rights. It's that simple, right? Super, super simple. Let's bring it back up. Nope, other way. There you go. Look, we're here. Near side, post, break him down, right? We twist, punch it across. It's already underneath his chin right now because I've punched it across. I bring him down to the mat. When he builds his base, it's underneath. I have it, dead to rights. Dunskies, out like a light. Right? That's all we got time for today, guys. We've hit that 1 hour mark. I'm really trying to be good about hitting the hour mark and calling it good so we don't go on for 2 or 3 hours like we have in the past. But for those of you guys that don't know, I did make some t-shirts just recently. I got 2 styles, right? One American Judoka and one Coffee and Medals t-shirt, judosilencer.com. They're 25 bucks. Make sure you guys check it out. There's also some stickers, some tank tops, a couple of crew necks because Angie Delgado said she really wanted one. So make sure you guys check that out, judosilencer.com. And if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys enter the free gi giveaway on fujisports.com for jiu-jitsu gis and Hadashida Sports for judo gis. I'm giving away out gis every Friday in the afternoon on Instagram. Make sure you guys check it out. This time slot, 1:30, is every Sunday. We're going to be doing something every Sunday. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for when I do another release. All right? And hey, we're going to be doing some live Q&As. I'm going to change the name from the live Q&As to Coffee and Medals Talk with Travis Stevens. We're going to have some guests on. We're going to get some people in. So until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Thanks for stopping by. And next Wednesday, we'll be carrying on the conversation for Newaza. So see you guys then.